Hi, I'm DK Will. This is DK Will Talk About It, and I'm going to do a video here more so on perspective of the Iraqi dinar, the financial market surrounding that, along with blockchain technology and cryptocurrency, which is undergoing a bit of a bloodbath. And the purpose of this video is really just to help on perspective. Um, it might shift a few paradigms on how people view things. But if you've come to know me, I tend to speak right from the heart. And if I believe when I say it, if you can convince me otherwise, I'm open to that. But I'm going to give some perspective on information that I normally share with you. And don't take it as naysayer information. It's really just perspective information. And so, as we know, I don't do much of anything without first getting a 5-second start. We need that 5-second start, folks. It's a brand. Let's get it going, huh?
Check the mic and make sure it sound right.
And I hope the mic does sound right. Let's get this baby going. So I'm going to start here on news, rumors, and opinions for Tuesday, 5/24. And we can see that KTFA, I think that stands for Keep the Faith Alive, has a little chatter back and forth on their board, as well as Militiaman sharing some information. And then Earth News is also sharing some information. Okay, so this person says, so if Parliament gets half plus members to pass the budget, do we still need to wait for a legitimate seated government since it is the caretaker government that sent the budget? Okay, now I'm going to respond to that and this entire little four comment thread here. And what I want to say, folks, is this information here is just a distraction. And this information here is just a distraction. And this information here is just a distraction. And this information here is just a distraction. Unless you're really interested in the government of Iraq and you want to know this information as they form their government and pass their budgets, this is all a distraction when it comes to will they or will they not revalue their currency. The revaluation of the Iraqi dinar has absolutely nothing to do with this information. Now, like I said, this is DK. We'll talk about it, so I can only talk about what I think. But this is just a distraction. I will explain further. Militiaman goes on to say, from the way I see them talking, the conversions and the entitlements are related not only the politics, but both politics by having a seated government and the monetary policies that will be from the laws, such as the emergency food law and the synonymous 2022 budget law. The seating of the government and then passing of the laws does exactly what they are suggesting to accomplish or overcome, as in meeting the living and service requirements of the citizen. That's true, that's good. An international exchange rate will fuel that into the future. That's true also. But when you tie this information up here with this information up here, the point I want to make, folks, is it doesn't matter. And if you've been in there Iraqi Dar for any length of time, the government back and forth and volleying has always been a part of it. Election troubles, all types of disturbances have all been a part of it, have all been distractions. Now, I'm not saying that it's not going to happen. I'm saying exactly what I mean. That's coming out of my mouth. They are all distractions. Because as you are fully aware, on DK we'll talk about it, it's almost a mantra. This is bigger than Iraq. So if your focus is on these matters and you think this is going to make a difference on when the RV happens, I think you have been distracted by distractions. Let's go a little further. As we read on, we see Earth News published a story about the President of the Republic, Barham Salih, and the Secretary General of the Kurdistan Islamic Union, necessity of achieving the constitutional entitlements. Now, as it comes to running a government and serving your citizens, this is a reality. not necessarily a distraction unless you think it matters on arriving to the revaluation of the currencies. It goes on here, says the statement added, it was emphasizing the need to achieve national and constitutional entitlements and end the political crisis, and they seem to always have those, by relying on dialogue and convergence to overcome the outstanding issues between the parties in a spirit of responsibility and patriotism, and to begin meeting the living and service requirements of citizens as a top priority by forming a capable government that is able to respond to the country's immediate requirements. If you've been focused on Iraq for a while, we've learned a lot about Iraqi politics and everything else, and quorums and forums and representatives and their prime ministers and everything else. And we're still talking about forming a capable government. Do you feel like this is a distraction? It is a distraction. And I'll tell you what you're watching. What you're watching is a boxing match. I like to use illustrations. However, the boxing match is not really a fight for a belt and a title. It's a charitable boxing match where the contestants are fighting against each other, and they're giving their best in some respects, but it doesn't really matter who wins other than ego, because it has no bearing on any real boxing championship belt. And so that's what you're watching here. Now, this is interesting news here, courtesy of Dinar Guru. It's an article that said Iraq surpasses Saudi Arabian oil exports to America. U.S. Energy Information Administration, Iraq's oil exports to the United States reached an average of 326,000 barrels per day last week. This is excellent news for Iraq. And yes, it is excellent news for Iraq. Pimpy, who seems to be becoming a big negative a lot, I think, but he goes on to say about $1 billion in bank sales in a week. Nice. This is the auctions they're talking about. They could just add that much more to the reserves. The auctions, what happens is the oil is sold in petrodollars. Then the oil company takes those dollars and gives them to the banks. The banks then auction them off to other countries who pay in their own currency. Then Iraq's central bank takes money from those sales and adds it to the reserves. The stronger the reserve, the more they can secure their own economic strength, as well as strengthening the Iraqi dinar. Okay, folks, good news on the economic development of Iraq and its primary export, which is oil. That's great news. It does make for a financially stronger and stable country. Again, though, it has no bearing on when this RV is going to happen. Pimpy's explanation here, it makes sense. However, it doesn't take into consideration something that is going on behind the scenes that a lot of people aren't aware of, and seemingly a lot of people have difficulty accepting. This here, petrodollar, United States dollar, is dead. Like it or not, it's dead. Oh yeah, it's still flopping on the deck. It hasn't stopped breathing. But with the occurrence of a new financial system, all that's going to change. And so what I'm trying to say in this video is many people, I shouldn't say everyone, many people have been watching the Iraqi situation, hoping for this and hoping for that, and watching news about this and watching news about that. And the news seems to be, recycle and repeat. What I'm saying is it's all a distraction. What I'm saying is, yes, it's informative, and yes, we've probably become far more educated about oil exports and Iraqi government and parliament and things of that nature than we ever would have been before. And we've probably had time to make more mature positions in the way we look at money and large sums of money coming our way. However, this is bigger than Iraq. And these are just distractions. They are melodramas for those who are not digging deeper and looking under the curtain of what's really going on. So what is really going on? Sorry for the parrot. I know many are not involved in the cryptocurrency market and blockchain technology, but folks, that's the wave of the future. And what I want to touch on here is, if you can see this chart here, notice what has been happening over the last few months. A deep dive, a deep dive, a deep dive. While turning the attention of the population towards cryptocurrency, at the same time, the narratives are making people scared to even touch cryptocurrency. This is the total crypto market cap token. And if you look at it over a month, you can see that it's very red. If you look at it over 7 days, you can see that it took a dive and it's very red. And even if we look at it for a year, you can see that it's deep red, deep red as it's been in a year. And so if you can recall back with realcommunityengager.com, I did an interview back when I worked at the bank as a bank manager, and I used an illustration about shaking a rug. And you can see here, see this rug getting shaken? You see this rug getting shaken up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down? That's really what's happening, folks, because the place that the majority of people are going to find new, I guess, wealth, or at least new funds, new returns on investment, is going to be in the crypto markets. But in the meantime, what they're doing is they're making it scary. Well, if everybody's selling, somebody else must be buying, right? And so that's really what's going on, because the powers that be know where the monetary systems are heading. And the monetary systems are heading away from, like I mentioned to you on the earlier clip, away from this. They're heading away from that. And they're heading towards this. And in particular, folks, I'm going to put it out there for you. You might seriously want to consider, where is it? Let's just put it in there. This, if you can get it. This is a Kmart special. You might also want to consider this. This is a Kmart special. You might also want to consider this. This is a Kmart blue light special. And there's others, for sure. You might want to consider this because of its rubbing elbows with the powers that be. You might also want to consider this because of its role going forward. And then even we can go a little further and we can consider this. What I'm saying is there's a change happening in the monetary system. And a lot of people are focusing on the distractions. And because they're focusing on distractions, they're missing one of the greatest opportunities for earnings that will ever occur in our lifetimes. And in this article here by Ron Giles, he touches on a lot of matters. And it's in harmony with what I'm trying to say. You notice where it says here, the Alliance does not give dates or estimated time ranges for things to happen. If they do, it is military deception. Please look back on some of my other videos with the Art of War, XRP the Bomb. People want to know why the Alliance lets the Guru family continue to deceive. It's part of the movie and creates chaos. Folks, it's all distractions. What happens when you go to the movie theater? Don't you get so focused and emotionally charged with what you see on the screen? Even though you know it's all pretend, even if it's based on a true story, it's been sensationalized and choreographed to affect your emotions and to get you involved. And that is what is happening. You're watching a movie, folks, because what is really happening behind the scenes is there's a major shift of the financial system. But to keep everybody from being aware of it, there's these distractions. And then for those who are aware of it, they're trying to shake us loose by beating that rug and shaking that rug. Because here's a thought pattern that's interesting. He says here, you can see the functional reality of what is left from the banks withdrawing from their profit structures to make three things free to the public. This is what the banks and the quantum financial system are doing by working together. That is why the pundits are saying that the banks are now connected to the QFS and are working together. This is true, but the way it is said gives the impression that the banks will be taking over the QFS instead of the other way around. This is the master plan of the whole process. Banks are fully aware that these bankrupt banks This won't be seen until we transition to the new QFS and the way the bankrupt systems will turn into financial service centers. The banks have no money to support the financial service center. So certain humanitarians will financially assist in the transition and then continue to fund the whole system as the financial service center serves the people's financial interests. And it's a war, folks. And the banks know that they're losing money. There's a liquidity crisis. It's going to be resolved. And everything is a distraction. And I hope this video makes sense by the time I'm done with it. But what I'm trying to say, folks, if you are already into the blockchain technology and the cryptocurrency markets, don't get shaken loose. I'm trying to say, at your best, don't get shaken loose. Because it's about to turn around here soon. And it's going to be phenomenal. And when I say phenomenal, I mean phenomenal. This type of run from this little bit in the history of this coin I'm showing you here, XRP, down here you can see it's 2 cents, once less than a penny, all the way up to this $3 high or whatever it was, pales in comparison to what's coming. And so the reason I'm doing this video is because I want to change the perspective on folks who come to watch my videos and they want to know what's up with the government. Do we have the budget? Do we have this? Do we have that? Totally, absolutely irrelevant. What is relevant is that we are switching a financial system and we are going with the quantum financial system, and it's going to be gold-backed money, and the BRICS nations are already getting it started and underway, and the US is faking and head faking and resisting, a little bit of both, but it's going to happen. And that's why at this moment in time the GCR has not taken place. So the QFS is not functioning as a new financial system yet. The GCR must take place before the QFS can be activated. To say otherwise means one doesn't understand the quantum financial system. Anyone who is saying the quantum financial system is active now has flawed thinking. They only know enough to be dangerous. This is part of the chaos that is being created. If you know these things already, you are among the less than 0.1% of people who understand the QFS. The QFS is a reality. I have a video back there on that too. Folks, when it goes into play, everything is going to be connected and known. That marriage of the digital gold certificate to the kilo of gold is forever. That contains the serial number of the kilo that is backing the gold certificate and the same number of increments of currency as the price of gold when the QFS is activated. We are going to a gold-backed system. Iraqi's government, parliament, budget is just a distraction. Folks, please bring your mind around to see where things are going. I will try to do another video to help round this out, but what I'm trying to say to you folks, there's only one cryptocurrency company that's meeting with the likes of Davos and the International Monetary Fund and so on and forth. It's Ripple, who uses XRP. Now I know it's difficult to get. I have a link in my video, or in my page, somewhere there's a link to Uphold, where you can still get it. But what I really want to say in this video, folks, is don't be distracted. I'm DK Will. This is DK Will Talk About it. And I've talked about it. Have a wonderful day.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right.